Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, and here we are with random reviews from the Overflow room. And believe it or not, in our perusal through the alphabet in reverse order, we have gotten to Carl Nielsen. Yes, Nielsen! Finally! It's another great composer. We have the great composers who are like the big chunks, the continents, and then we have the little islands and archipelagos and things like that of small, unknown people. And there's a place for both. And there's also a lot of music by great composers that isn't terribly well known. So here we go. Nielsen, I have to tell you, Nielsen is still, I think, a very underrated composer. Every time I go to hear one of his symphonies live, everybody just loves it and then turns around and says, why do we hear this that frequently? I remember when Ozmo Vanska did the Fifth Symphony with the New York Phil, and everybody was just thrilled with it. They really were. And I was really, he did a very good job with it, actually much better than his recordings, I will say that. Anyway, but that orchestra knows the music. They've recorded it a couple times. So there you go. Anyway, Nielsen, my overflow of Nielsen tends to be real overflow. In other words, things that I have too much of or decided to keep because they were sort of ephemeral, but not my favorite stuff, although some of it's very good. Well, you'll see. I have duplicates as usual of stuff. But, Nielsen is a composer who didn't write so much music that the best stuff cannot be in your permanent collection. You get the symphonies and the concertos. You've got, maybe, 4 or 5 discs. Some of the chamber works, incidental music and other orchestral pieces, the tone poems and things like that, the Aladdin suite, and you're set. But then there's all the other stuff, so let's see what the other stuff is, shall we? For example, this lovely disc, actually, it really is, of choral music, the Hymnus Amoris, Opus 12, youthful work, and Sleep, another cantata type thing, and Springtime in Funen, Funskforar, whatever it's called, which is just lovely. It's only 17 minutes and 50 seconds of totally refreshing fun and tuneful innocence and freshness. It's a late work, Opus 42. And then 3 motets, which are absolutely lovely. 3 Latin motets, Opus 55, very late works and exquisite. And we have the Danish National Radio Choir, which is wonderful, under Stefan Parkman, and the Danish National Radio Symphony under Leif Segerstam. The wonderful Segerstam. He was such a cool guy and crazy nut job, a wonderful conductor on Chandos. So that's a great way to start Nielsen with some unusual stuff. And then we've got, oh my goodness, early songs, the Violin Sonata and Commotio from 1931, orchestrated and conducted by Bo Holten with the Odense Symphony Orchestra. These are all orchestrations, the Violin Sonata, Opus 35, and 7 early songs. And it's all orchestrated by Bo Holten. Henriette Bonde Hansen is the soprano. Bjarne Hansen is the violinist. And Bo Holten with the Odense Symphony on Danacord. This is awfully interesting. First of all, the music's wonderful. The violin sonatas are fabulous, and we never hear them. Commotio is his great work for organ. It's really the only great work for organ he wrote, though there are some other things. It's a big piece. It's 23 minutes, a big single movement, 23-minute organ extravaganza that really sounds like Nielsen. And so I like this orchestration. I really enjoyed this disc. I stuck it down here because I needed someplace to put it, actually, at the time. And but I listened to this. I've listened to this fairly often since I got it back. Well, when did it come out? It was in 2000 something, or I don't know. Of course, why would it have a date? Yes, it does. 2001. Is that it? Yeah. January 2001 it was when it was recorded. Quite marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. And Commotio is a masterpiece. Whether you hear the organ original or this version, I would recommend it quite strongly. And we've got, Contrapunct. Remember that label? Yeah, this was the Odense Symphony Orchestra under Tomasz Veto, the Hungarian conductor. And it's like incidental music thingies. And they're not translated, so I have absolutely no idea what they are. but I enjoyed listening to them nonetheless. And the titles have lots of silent G's and things like that in them. I don't know, this first one, Hagbarth Og Signy, which might be Hybarth Oi Signy or something. I don't know how you pronounce it in Danish. And then there's Ebbe Skammelsen and Sankt Hans Aftenspiel. Maybe they translated the booklet, because that's why I got it. Let me see. No, why should they bother? Good Lord. But they are incidental works. And they don't tell you at all what these are. I mean, maybe they do in the notes. I mean, I remember I got it. I knew what they were way back when. Do I know what they are now? St. John's Eve's play. Oh, Sankt Hans Aftenspiel. Okay, St. John's Eve play. That's what that means. And Ebbe Skamish, that's a person. So, I mean, that's fine. And then Hagbarth and Signy, those are also other people. It's Romeo and Juliet in Danish, I guess. I don't know. I have no idea. But the incidental music is lots of fun to listen to. Oh, look. Left to right, they have the Lura choir that plays in one of these things. Look at those those Viking brass thingies. There they are. So, yeah, this was fun. So that went into the overflow room. And then we've got Symphonies 4 and 5, London Symphony with Ole Schmidt on Regis. Now, we've talked about these performances a million times. They're wonderful. Regis or Alto or one of those Todd Landor albums has them. And they're still wonderful performances. So, I mean, I got them. And, I have millions of versions of them. So that was just one of them. Then we've got Paavo Järvi and the Cincinnati Symphony, The Rite of Spring and Nielsen 5. Well, this was fun. This Telarc series of Paavo Järvi stuff is marvelous. It's mostly wonderful. It all got boxed up and licensed super cheap for a while. I think it's gone now. But we talked about the big box that had this in it. This was released both on SACD and regular CD separately. And it's just very, very good. It really is. Then we've got the Theodore Kuchar Janáček Philharmonic Nielsen cycle, which I've talked about and have in a bigger box of Theodore Kuchar pieces, or for recordings, that is, which has Nielsen and Smetana and Shostakovich or whatever. All the stuff he did on Brilliant Classics was boxed up, and that box is upstairs, so this moved downstairs. It's an excellent Nielsen cycle, because everything Kuchar does is very good. He's so musical and so smart and exciting and fresh, and he just gets the job done. And they do here, even though it's not the greatest orchestra in the world. It's a surprisingly fine cycle. And then we have string quartets, Opus 5 and 13, with the Kubin Quartet on Centaur. Centaur is a label where you pay to play. They issue things under their label when people present them with finished projects, and it's a nice performance. They're a Czech group. It was recorded at the Ostrava radio studio in the Czech Republic, I gather. They're a Czech group, Kubin Quartet, Kubin. And they have names like Jiří and Pavel and Ludek. And so, I mean, they're definitely Czech. Wonderful music. The Nielsen quartets are lovely. He was a string player. He knew how to write quartets. Most of them are early, all of them but one. But that doesn't mean they're not worth listening to. They're absolutely first rate. So that's lovely. Then we've got the complete piano music with Peter Sievereit piano on Naxos. This is volume 2, which has the Festival Prelude, Turn of the Century, which is only a tiny bit long. Then, he wrote some wonderful piano music. So Piano Music for Young and Old, books 1 and 2. Some marvelously charming pieces, including one called A la Bach. Yeah. Does it sound like Bach? Well, it's A la Bach. And let's see, his Suite Opus 45, which is a major work, and it's quite lovely. And the 3 piano pieces, Opus 59. These are late works. That's why I got them. And so that was nice to have. And Nielsen Symphonies, oh yes, with the BBC Scottish Symphony Orchestra and Osmo Venska on Bis. Not a great cycle. Partly the orchestra wasn't the best. Partly Venska seemed to have been a little bit, I don't know. I mean, I got them. I listened to them. You can read reviews of this stuff on classicstoday.com. He was much more of a Sibelius guy than he was a Nielsen guy. Conductors tend to be able to do one or the other, but not necessarily both. Pavel Berglund was the best example. God, he was a terrible Nielsen conductor and a wonderful Sibelius conductor. So there you go. These performances just don't have quite the punch that they should, and the orchestra is not as good and dynamic as they could be, and so that's that. Then we've got this wonderful disc on MSR Classics that has like all of his overtures, tone poems, incidental music, and other goodies. You've got the Overture to Masquerade at the Buyer of a Young Artist, the Helios Overture, Sagadrome, Pan and Syrinx, the Rhapsodic Overture, an imaginary journey to the Faroe Islands, Bohemian Danish folk tune thing, and then finally the Suite from Aladdin. It's not, it's not like blow you away stunning, but they're really solid, good performances, very well recorded. It's with the Aarhus Symphony Orchestra under Lance Friedel. Yeah, really good. MSR, that's worth having. And Scandinavian Wind Quintets. Yay! Oh, I love this disc. I just love this disc. It's on Naxos. It's wonderful. You've got the Oslo Wind Ensemble, which is just one of the best wind ensembles you've ever heard in your life. And you've got Jan Fernström's Wind Quintet and Johan Kvandal's Wind Quintet and his 3 hymn tunes, which is also for wind quintet, and Nielsen's Wind Quintet, which is one of the great masterpieces and a big work, a really big work, 25 or so, 26 minutes long. Gorgeous sound, beautiful production values, absolutely first class in every respect. So there you have it, my friends, our first stack of Nielsen. Keep on listening and take care.